Okay, today it's my great honor to welcome Jessica Panigari, the founder of Goods2Load. Goods2Load is a platform that's redefining logistics for SMEs and freight forwarders. She's a solopreneur with a mission to empower forwarders with data driven insights, improve their efficiency, and create a network that fosters growth and collaboration. Jessica's hands on, innovative approach makes her a trailblazer in the logistics industry. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, Herman. It's such a nice and great pleasure to be here. It's truly my honor. Thank you for this opportunity.
Wonderful. So, Jessica, maybe we can start off with, we're all kind of expats in Dubai. What brought you to Dubai? How long have you been here?
So it's been 2 years that I'm here in Dubai. It was such a great adventure of my lifetime. Definitely, I would say that, as many of us as expats, we experience what it means to feel um, not in the right place to develop our full potential. So
Yeah.
it was a long time that I was experiencing this kind of contracts between my private life and then my business life that actually it merged pretty much specifically for my expectations and everything that it's just matter to me. So there was this chance to come here and visit Dubai. And to be honest, until November 2022, the end of November 2022, I didn't even know about the Dubai life, Dubai tech environment, anything related to Dubai for me. It was just a gray matter. And
Yeah.
then I came to visit and I spent 10 days here and I just adore to be surrounded by positivity and I felt safe, I felt protected. And I was like, you know what?
Mm.
Okay, let's move here. And then in a matter of 1 month, I just become to be a resident in the UAE. very quick, very quick. I think that one of the quickest decisions of my life.
It's amazing, right? As you get to know Dubai and just see how easy it is to get settled in here, and you experience the business culture that's here. I mean, that was my experience as well. It's absolutely wonderful when you come here and just like, oh, everything works, and it's such a welcoming place for from a business perspective.
Yeah, it was
So,
so easy. It was so easy and fluid, and I thought it was so natural because it was meant to be. So it was just that
mm,
way.
okay. And then, now you've got this application, this platform, Goods2Load. What got you started on that journey?
So Goods to Load is a huge path. So it definitely didn't start with logistic. I wasn't really educated in the logistic words and the global trade itself. So it was 2020 when I ended my uh, business life from being an employee to have my first experience as an entrepreneur. So as everyone, we were stuck in these COVID situations where everything was just very confusional. I think it was a huge revolutionary moment for all of us. Even personally, the expectations of life were just like changing and swifting to something different that we couldn't really understand what we were experiencing within ourselves. And so at the same time, so with my ex business partner, we were trying to find a way to make something because we were just bored at home.
Mm.
And we had this chance, to start talking about global trade, wholesale of PPI and pharmaceutical items, so that we just start doing that as per joke. And it became such a big business, and we were finally experiencing our entrepreneur potentialities. At the same times, we felt that we were very constricted about the Italian's border because we
Okay.
were really willing to expand, but we couldn't find a way because we were brand new, no contacts, no liquidity, no contracts of logistics, simplification, such as with huge company that can build something for you that make it easy, and then at the same times we had our margin that was eaten by the logistic services. So we couldn't really do that step of expansion. So one day it happened that I was talking with one of the truck driver that was just sending back and forth goods, and I was like, okay, why are you here? Like, how what is happening? Like, what's the reason why you're doing this job, and how you ended up being here doing these transportations during this specific time where people were not allowed to go around? And he
Yeah.
says, I belong to this platform where truck driver like me, where we own our own tiny truck. We work for logistic companies as kind of freelancer, so that they book for us the routes so that we don't make any empty routes, and we go back and forth from any focal point of commerce all over Europe. And most of the time we wait in these focal points. So I was like, oh, nice. Can I have a contacts of this broker that is making this happen? And I get the number. We start talking, and it happens that this broker helped me to multiply by 16 times the annual turnover of my company, just because logistic.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just mesmerizing to see how logistic is really impactful, and it's really capable of changing the reality of a business. So it was just beautiful. The drivers were waiting in the focal point of commerce all over Europe. We were just like finding clients and sending back and forth between 12 to 15 truck per day, and it was just amazing. Specifically, I'm talking about land freight because in Europe we have the European Union and it makes everything easier. But it was just beautiful. It was such a great
What
moment.
what company was that, Jessica? This was in Italy that you're talking about.
Yes, yes, my first company in Italy. Yes. So it
Okay.
was Yes, it was a big experience. I had a first company where we were doing wholesale, so it was any kind of material, and it was just beautiful as it was. And again, like having a possibility to have a driver that actually help you to do cash and carry. So we kind of educated the driver to do the inspection of the good, and they could wait if the warehouse was not ready. And most of the time, if you have a logistics service that is happening, you cannot ask, wait if the warehouse is not ready. They just leave. They
Yeah.
don't come back the day after. But then
Right. Right.
at the same times, we had the ETA, which is the estimate times of arrival. We were following the drivers with the GPS, so we
Yes.
could know where they were and schedule the pickup from the final clients itself, so that he could manage itself the pickup from
Hmm.
the reselling, the details reselling. So it was great. It was really great. And yeah, this is how it starts, like the ideas. Oh, sorry. There is a fire alarm. Just
That's okay.
it's gonna end.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, having then gone through that experience, obviously you then identified that the platform that was being used was not solving all of the problems, and that's why I assume you decided to, or saw that there's a gap in the market, and is that where goods to load comes from?
So, to be honest with you, there were platform, and there are platform. In
Hmm.
my opinion, I don't think that this platform were designed to satisfy two end user, because at the same time, if you want to attract user like me, so
Yeah.
small business owners, you need to communicate in such a way that it's easy and concretely, like, simple to be used. So just to let you know, we were performing really nicely, but the people that were performing more than us at the time were people that were uneducated completely. So, but they were such a great reseller, like incredibly great reseller. At the same time, they were struggling with the logistics.
Hmm.
So as what we were doing at the time. We went where we didn't have logistic solutions. We were renting trucks and go back and forth from Stuttgart, from Frankfurt, and it was time consuming,
Yeah.
devastating. You're under such a pressure that you don't know what to prioritize.
Mm.
So if you find a way to communicate like concretely what is the service, and you can make a platform that it's easy to be used, then you can definitely talk to those people that are doing a lot of money, that are doing a
Yeah.
lot of business. And all the platforms that are currently existing, in my opinion, are kind of complicated, and most of the people don't have time and are not interested. People, how's the estimate of the clicks on videos and lives is less than 3 seconds. So if you
Mm.
cannot
Yeah.
attract and keep people attention on something, then I think you're losing a huge slice of the market. So you need to
Correct.
make something that it's easy, and at that time it wasn't easy at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's often what you see when people develop platforms like these. They look from their own perspective and things what would make their own life easier without considering the end user or the customer, and and looking at the problem from the customer's perspective. And I think there's still many niches like that, where people are like, yeah, it works for me, but for the customer, it's still difficult, right? Because,
Yeah.
like you say, people have an attention span of zero, and if it's not quick and easy, then they don't use it.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And to let you think about that, my biggest inspirations for Goods to Load, definitely it was my field. So the war field where I was dealing every day. So I had to talk and interact with freight forwarders in general to understand what we were looking for in order to make something appealing and interesting for them. Because to be honest and very frank, they are loaded with work. It's not that they
Mm.
don't have work, but how can you
Right.
give them more work in such a way that they are receiving passive possibility to generate income? So
Yes.
most of the company that sorry, the software and the platform that you find nowadays, they are creating this kind of solutions where you ask the company to participate in order to make the platform itself work. You cannot do that because these people are not interested. These people are doing billions and billions, and still they are considered, small. But
Yeah.
based and compared to the gigantic of logistic, which
Yes.
are owning maybe the 10, like, the
Mm.
P word to THL, they're owning the 10 to 20 to 30% of the global trade
Yeah.
solution. But
Right.
then again, when you want to talk about small and medium businesses that needs to receive assistance and tailor services, such as myself at the time, we are talking about the 80% of the businesses all over the world that are lacking
Mm.
assistance. And
Yes.
so those small are most of the time assisted by those other small and medium logistic businesses.
Right.
So, and why I'm telling you that they should not be, I mean, they can, but at the same time, it's not fully tailored. They should not be probably assisted by those gigantic, because they have such a big flow and such a big quantity to move. And those small and medium are not big enough to be dealt with.
Correct. Yeah, it's not worth their while to get involved with a small business that just wants to move something now and again, right? So,
Yes, yes. So I think it becomes really tricky because at the same time, this gigantic have like thousand and thousand of employee dealing with like so many containers per day. But then
mm,
when you're small, you're not even fulfilling a container. But at the same time, you want to work and you can make money. I really was making an important amounts of money, but I wasn't big enough for this gigantic to be taken care of.
yeah.
So I found that struggle a key to communicate with different people. And I think that what I'm still looking to build and expand is the solutions to assist those who need it the most.
Mm. Yeah, I think what you find sometimes with those big companies is that they have a different structure. They have an account management structure, right? And they have people, a team in the client organization that they deal with, and there's a whole. It's much more complex and much more involved process because the volume of goods moved is so much more. So there's a mismatch between them and a small business that's like it's got a founder or an owner, and now they're trying to do the thing. So I definitely understand what you're saying there. There's definitely an opportunity there. So was there a kind of a aha moment for you where you like, you know what, there's a business here, or was it kind of something that just gradually grew?
Oh, so I'm kind of embarrassed about sharing this moment because it was like, am I crazy? Because the mental health is something during these moments, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
am I just like, going out of my mind? So it was actually during the nighttime.
yeah,
And when I think that what we share as entrepreneurs is obsession.
yeah.
So I was obsessed, and I was continuously thinking,
Mm,
okay, what is happening is huge. What can I do with this? Because I could taste and feel and concretely see the evidence that this thing was really something incredible and making the difference of my business life.
yeah,
So I was like, okay, but what can I do? Like what can I do with this discovery of network of drivers owning trucks in Europe, like
yeah.
waiting in the focus of commerce. Okay, what do I do? And then at
Mm,
some point, I don't remember what time it was because it was definitely during the nighttime, but who knows when.
mm.
I was like, I had this kind of like buzz all over my body, and I
Wow.
was like, oh yes, yes,
Mm,
we can build a solutions that can simplify logistics and
yeah.
match these drivers with the small medium businesses. And that
Right.
was the actually very beta version of Goods to Load, because nowadays is not even that specific uh,
Mm,
solution. But I was like, oh yes, this could be something that can grow and become very, very useful for the people. And I think that when you understand that your idea can be a tool not used only from yourself but from others as well, you see the power behind everything. And
mm.
for me was the aha moment for sure.
And let me ask you this: from that initial idea that you have, how much is how much has that idea evolved into what Goods to Load eventually became?
Yeah. So it was February 2022 that I had that night
Mm,
experience. And in January 2023, I arrived in Dubai. Just consider that in February 2022, I think COVID was still something. So I couldn't really offer my solutions to my clients because otherwise they would become my competitors. So I
yeah.
was also waiting the right moment to offer that specific tool, and I did. But it was
Mm,
mostly, I think, during summertime, and I was testing. But it was the beta version of offering, a logistics services and put on top a brokerage fee. So it wasn't really anything, incredible. And when I arrived here in January in 2023, I started to have a revolution in my head and in my life completely. So I was just like trying to understand how can I take care about this idea and how can I develop this idea. So at the beginning, I had to try and fail several times in order to understand what could goods load be in
mm,
a real future. And definitely, I tried to apply the same system that I was using in Europe in the UAE without
mm.
having the knowledge about how it works in the UAE. So
Right,
I
right.
think it was just a moment that I was like, okay, now give me one moment. We failed,
Yeah.
me and my son. I was like, we failed. What can we do to do better and be better? So I remember that I applied the same system that I was using to acquire goods during my wholesale experience. And I went on Facebook and I subscribed to all the freight forwarding groups on Facebooks, and I started asking questions. So I
Yeah.
just bothered. I think I interviewed 200 freight forwarders in the
Okay.
UAE and even outside UAE, just to get an overall idea of what could be actually a possible solutions for them to simplify their job and to assist them in order to find qualified leads. Because most
Mm.
of the struggles, the common struggle was like we lose time in nonsense. And I was like, okay, how can we make this happen? Because I know my experience as an entrepreneur and as a small business that is struggling, but how it is to be a freight forwarder, so what they are experiencing on the other side. And yeah, I think the real goods to load happens to be probably this year in May. So it took me, I would say, even 2 years to
Okay.
make a real business that it's actually scalable, which is fundamental if you're talking about global.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I find a lot of startups I talk to is, and for my own business as well, it took the longest time to find the product market fit. To find the problem solution fit is probably a better term
yeah,
of what we're talking about. Because you have an idea in your mind that, yeah, I can do this, I have these skills, I see this opportunity. But then when you take it to market, the way you take it to market is so, so, so important. And like you just said, what you found is the biggest problem is wasting time, right?
yeah,
Um, and you can only kind of get that insight once you talk to people and you understand and so on, and then kind of build your solution around, I suppose, saving them time or not wasting their time. Do you feel that Goods to Load has got a proper and solid problem solution fit?
so I would say this thing. So there is always room for improvement. There is
Yeah,
no way that someone feel arrived because we just have a
sure, sure.
solutions right now. I mean, we saw how delicate is the world situations right now. So I think that even these specific challenging moments are giving rooms for new ideas to happen. I
Hmm.
do believe that struggles hide some huge and gigantic possibility to develop new solutions that can actually help the society to perform better. So I would say that what we found is a way to profile freight forwarders based on their quality instead of price comparison. And it's absolutely true that most of the time you lose time with freight forwarders or business owner because you're not the right match. And
Yeah.
so matching requirements and performances are helping people to save time and save money.
Mm.
Um, I do think it's very important what we are doing.
Yeah.
Solving a problem itself, I think I want to experience the market for a longer time to tell you with data if we are the
Sure.
solution.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, so far the feedback that you're getting is kind of people, yeah, they feel that this will really help them in terms of making more money, saving time, or whatever those metrics are that's important to them.
Yes, for us, we develop also dashboard for the freight forwarders that apply to Goods2Load in order for them to collect the data that are happening between the two parties involved so they can
Yeah.
have a forecast of the market itself. I think it's really important even for them to understand their own performance based on concrete numbers to
Mm.
create a future plan. So, do we want to expand and open a branch there? Are we trading these specific goods? We did these integrations of the HS code, which is the harmonized standard code that classify the goods. And this harmonized standard code basically classify the goods with specific numbers to let the global trade be a common language. And each
Okay.
country adds specific figures in order to understand the taxations of import and exportations. Just to let you know that 20% of the global trade is still making mistakes on the classification so that they unfortunately ended up paying more.
Okay.
So there is this sort of education purpose that we implied in Goods to Load, because we understand that lacking in the educations related to the logistic field, it might makes you ended up with a huge problems, the goods stuck in the duty custom, having to deal with wrong freight forwarders. There are scammers as well, there are scammers in the user, there are scammers in the freight
Sure.
forwarders.
Sure.
Bad people are unfortunately impacting the global trade. So I think it's nice to have a platform that function as a smart Google for freight forwarders, where if you want to start your own business, you have a chance to actually find a good partner for life and just freely start
Hmm.
talking to them and doing and business and expand your ideas. I think it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Okay. So in this journey, maybe talk to us about some of the challenges that you faced in
Mm,
terms of, growing and getting to where you are, because it's definitely not an easy journey, but yeah, you are
yeah.
there, and yeah,
So first of all, are many. So I don't want to say one, because I think it would be just like very dishonest from my side. But I would say the biggest, as I said before, specifically in my case, because I'm a solo founder, solopreneur,
yeah,
woman in business, and whatsoever. Mental health. So the consistency
right,
that implies being a business owner and having to deal within yourself with all the struggles related to the liquidity management, the development of the ideas, and talking to people, doing networking, and private life itself, and is a huge tough job to be a human and still trying to achieve your goals, specifically when no one is kicking your
go
and
back.
exactly. And you just need to do it by yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
mental health has been one of the toughest challenge I had to face in these years, talking about 5 years in fully. Definitely, if I compare my experience when I was an employee, I would say that it was not easier, it was just different. I think that you ended up choosing your own struggle. I
mm,
felt that I wasn't accomplishing anything in my life, and I was working for something that wasn't mine, and this was hurting me so badly that I felt useless. So that was my feeling as per I started. I never dreamed about being an entrepreneur, but I just ended up being an entrepreneur so far. And it's important, in this path to be surrounded by people that are supporting you. And I'm not telling you people that always say, yes, you are amazing, you're beautiful, the ideas is great, and da da da. As I said, if one of the people that we know in common, you need to be surrounded by people that are incredibly honest and
yes,
genuine and positive itself, and they want the best for you. So
yes,
when you're doing mistakes, they are going to tell you, hey, I think that this is might be not the best
hmm,
for you, Goods to Load whatsoever. And then you can take care about that observations and humbly understand that you have to work and take care about that and make it better, different, or whatsoever. But without this network of people, and I'm telling you this because I tend to be a very lonely person. I just enjoy my time within myself. So being out of my comfort zone, it means doing networking. It's very challenging, and it's not something that I would do in my natural habitat, let's say. But
yeah,
it saved me. It truly saved me.
mm,
And without that, you cannot really. I mean, I think that you can talk plural, but I think that without that network that support you, it's tough to go straight to your goals and achieve what you want to achieve. I don't think that lonely people can really do that, in my opinion, of course.
mm. It is tough. I've gone through the same thing in my business. Is as a solo founder, and yeah, that me you verbalized it very well. In that you sometimes when things don't go right and you have to pivot and you have to go in another direction and figure out why something is not working, and there's no one around to kind of reflect with. It's really really tough doing that by yourself. So definitely having access to those people is a huge plus in this space, in this entrepreneurial space. Is there any specific advice that you would give somebody that's going through what you've gone through in these early stages?
Oh yeah. Uh Considering us as a human first and then business owner second, I would definitely say um learn to love yourself in such a ways that your value are not lost the moment that you feel that things are not happening in the timing you are
Mm,
expecting them to happen. um you need to be very flexible, at the same time, like very safe and sure of what you are doing. Otherwise you will ended up being lost and lose more than a business. Losing
mm,
yourself is not really worth it. And I think it's really important to take care about all the aspect related to you as a human. So do not let the business take all of you. Take care about yourself as a human so that you have enough mental health to keep it going the right way.
mm.
And it's very easy to lose the sight when you are lost, and it's just too important.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like you can read my mind, because that feeling of when something's not working, you take it on personally, and you think
Yeah,
I'm a failure because this thing is not working, and it's to separate yourself from the thing, right? It's just
yeah,
something that's happening currently. It's not you. It's not your whole being that's a failure. It's just something. It's a situation, that you're finding yourself in currently. That's been something I had to learn as well, as one goes through these things, is to kind of separate yourself from the situation and just see it for what it is. So that's great advice, Jessica. I think that is very very valuable and useful for people to kind of understand that. If we were to go a little bit further forward then, and to say, uh, you know, once you started building the platform, what was your approach in terms of finding customers? How did you find your first customers?
well, I think it's really important to be in the right place, and again in the right circle. So myself, since I didn't know anyone here and I was brand new in Dubai, I was like, okay, what can I do? So first of all, to start, I decided to, again, use my techniques to grab clients, and I went on Facebook again. I should probably be thanking, Zuckerberg for that, but so I went on Facebook and I found some women's expat entrepreneurs Dubai, and some groups related to women in Dubai, on business, of course. And I was like, hey, I wrote a post and I was like, hey, ladies, I'm here in Dubai. I'm an entrepreneur. Women's here. Is there anyone that want to grab a coffee? And thanks God, I had 46 women interacting
Wow,
with me. Yeah, it was mind blowing.
incredible!
I,
Sure.
I I met 12 of them, and then from these 12, that of course some of them just disappeared, but not because anything happened. It's just like life. And
Yeah.
two of them are very close friend of mine since 2 years now. One of them in specific introduced me to the person that it's the owner and founder of the company that built my software.
Okay.
Yes, so
Wow.
which is
Mm.
hilarious because she's half Italian and half French. So how this can be happening, I don't even know. I mean, she lives close to my hometown, which is absurd,
Oh my word. Yeah.
Yeah, some crazy situations happen, and I do believe in God providence.
Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we can call it anywhere, anyway. I mean, universe, energies, and whatsoever. But still, I feel really guided and protected. And then it happens that I met that girl that introduced me to the guy that actually developed my software. And then starting from that, I start joining exhibitions. And as I said, I went on this beautiful meeting in Sharjah, related to entrepreneurs in at the Dubai, the University of Technology and Development in Sharjah, where I met
Mhm.
another lady belonging to the Dubai's Business Women Council, where then I became a member as well. And she did my financial statements and projections. And then I met the lady that did my own marketing and search engine optimization solutions for Goods2Load. And then from there, I started, after I had my product, I started approaching, of course, logistic environments. And I ended up being in connections with people from Seamless, which is a huge exhibitions here in Dubai. And then um, other women's related to logistics that forwarded me in some newspaper, e-paper, and articles. And from there, I met so many freight forwarding companies and panels talk, exhibitions again. I travel abroad in Saudi, and
Mm.
it was networking. Really, networking saved me in so many ways.
Okay. Okay. So at the moment, as things stand, your platform is live. I think I saw you went live officially a month ago or so, maybe 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yes. So we
Uh,
were live actually 2 months ago for ventures capitalists and investors,
yeah.
but then we kept a month to redefine some specific details, and then we became live during. I think it was the first week of December.
Hmm. I remember that. Okay. So you've got clients there. Transactions are happening. Tell us about where are you now with the platform?
Yes, we have a lot of interest, and we have finally freight forwarders that are approaching to the platform. Of course, it was a tough moment because when you have a direct feedback, you understand what to fix and how to fix it.
Yes.
You need to
Yes.
accept, you know, after a long journey to launch the product, and then you are like, oh yeah, of course we still need to do a
Yeah.
lot of job.
Yeah.
So it's a never ending job, and
Sure.
we are happy that we are having a very nice feedbacks from faithful orders that are very important in the network. And we can't wait for this 2025. We are so excited, and definitely we expect to have huge results.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So you talked about venture capitalists and funding and so on. Do you have any investors in the business, or have you raised funding? Tell us about that.
So far I'm self-funding, but
Okay.
yes, definitely I would be saying that we have been approached by more than 20 investors. uh all of them were really passionate about Goods2Load. We keep in touch not every day, but definitely multiple times per week. They are willing to talk about investments, but of course is important to acknowledge and be aware that when you ask people money, you need
Mm-hmm.
to show performance. So
Yes.
nice idea, nice product, it's live. Okay, then now give me datas. I want to see that people use your product. I want to see that people are interacting with the product, so that you just certify that the idea can really function. So
Yes.
we are in this stage. We are aiming to create and generate datas in order to go to our venture capitals and say, listen, we were at this point X months ago, and now we are at this point. So
Yes.
are you in or are you out? And move forward, because we definitely we will be receiving no's, and that's fine. But at
Yeah.
some point, the door will open, and we will receive the funding that we deserve, and then expand how we should.
Mm.
So it's really important to wait the good moment, but definitely keep going. Never stop because someone says no. It's
Yeah.
maybe no for them, it's fair. It doesn't mean to be yes for everyone.
No, sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm involved in that space as well, talking to or helping startups to get funding. And it's such a niche environment in that, every investor have their own specific requirements. And, well, we only invest in businesses doing more than 10 million. We only invest in this. We only invest in that. So it's quite a job to find the right people to speak to, first of all, and then, like you say, being at the right stage of your business for them to say yes, okay, we want to potentially get involved. So yeah, good luck with that. That's hopefully 2025 is the year that you get a good investor that can really help you scale the business. Um, Talking about scaling, how did you make sure that the way you built the platform that it's scalable?
Well, always. I think that's I as far as I spoke with my fellow entrepreneur, that was probably one of the common things that we had. When you start the business, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I go to do this, and that, and then you find that you have a beautiful product, but probably it's even more than what it's required to make it a product that works.
Yeah,
So definitely removing. So I had to check my own software and acknowledge that probably we were overdoing and not taking care as we should to specific details. I think that optimizing and perfectionizing not many details, but some, and made them perfect makes
yeah,
the difference, instead of having a bunch of things, a
yeah,
bunch of tools, but they are not really performing as they should.
yeah.
So keep it simple,
Mm,
remove, and make it work as it
mm,
should, definitely.
yeah. I think it was Paul Graham that said, the startup guy from Y Combinator. He said that it's better to have a couple of people that love your product than have many people that are kind of meh, about it, that are not really like,
A
yeah,
hundred.
it's okay. So, rather focus in on creating that love with a smaller group, and then see what works in that environment, and then, scale that, rather than to, try and be everything for everybody.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And definitely, as I said, to make it scalable, you need to understand the environment you're placing the product first,
Yeah.
and then considering logistic, and it's a global topic. You
Right.
need to understand the user, but what is your user? So in
Mm.
my specific case, I was focusing on one specific user, and then in the end I understood that I had two end user. So we do have the small medium businesses that might want to use the platform to find the good logistic solutions to expand their ideas. At the same times, we have the freight forwarders.
Yeah.
So the forwarders in our specific case, since the platform is fully free for the user,
Yeah.
are actually the people that generate incomes for the platform, because they do subscribe to have access to dashboards and data forecasts. So
Yes.
how do we make the platform appealing to those who are loaded with work?
Yeah.
So I think even understanding that I had to deal with them, and I'm not even talking about cultural barriers, because it's not even that. It's just about talking about logistic and talking about the same language of those
Mm.
people that are talking about logistics since 50 years.
Yes.
So
Right.
how do you speak the same language with those?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I see we have a couple of people watching the broadcast. So I want to ask that if you have a question or a comment for Jessica, please drop them in the comments. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Please, ask your questions, and let's all learn about the logistics space and what Jessica's up to. So, in terms of the industry, are there trends or innovations that you're seeing? I suppose, especially these days with AI, that you think are going to really impact the industry in the years to come?
Well, definitely, definitely. And the good things of going to exhibitions and understand what it's happening around, it's literally that you can see what people are working on. So I'm not telling you that new things are there, because if we talk about autonomous warehousing system, that's not a new topic. If we talk about, um, inventories and fulfilling system, that's not a new thing, but definitely I see the potential of AI, of
Mm,
assisting in how to make the resolutions of a specific logistic service smarter. And in my specific business, we just apply the chatbot, the AI chatbot. So
yeah.
it's virtual assistant, which is not the biggest AI solutions that we could think of, but definitely we wanted to start with like heavy feet to taste the territory and see what we could add to make it more appealing,
Mm,
um, considering our target market. um, but yeah, definitely we are keeping an eye on the drone last mile delivery, which is very interesting and will be probably here soon.
yeah.
Um, we saw a lot of solutions related to the drone delivery for the long distance, and that's very interesting as well.
Mm,
Still, it applies that the governmental entity needs to cooperate to make it easy
yes,
and regulated as well.
of course.
So it really depends about how the bureaucracy in a specific country, it's complicated or it's easy to be work on. So I think it really depends about the governments and how they welcome these new activities in their countries. And I
Yeah.
do think that Dubai is definitely the place to be.
For sure. I mean, I see we've got flying robot taxis coming in, or they're building the port for that now. That's been announced. So I think you are definitely in the right environment, for drone deliveries because the Dubai government is so forward-looking and futuristic. I think definitely it'll be one of the first places where that happens at scale. So yeah, right environment is critical for this kind of thing. In terms of your personal growth, has this journey that you've been on has it changed you in any way, personally and professionally? Have you gone through changes as a human being?
Oh, it's changed. I think I died so many times and regrowth from my own ashes so many times that I even like sometimes I just wonder if my own self would ever the of today would ever speak to my own self of 5 years ago. I don't
Yeah.
think that we would have anything to talk about. Can you believe me? I'm like, am I even like? I don't know. I know that it takes a lot of when things are not really working as you want in your life, or you just decide to face it, or you just keep it as it is and you
Mm,
accept it. And
yes.
in my specific case, I was going through personal challenges that completely revolutionized my way of perceiving the world and
Mm,
perceiving humanity itself. And I questioned myself so many times.
mm,
And, I think that if you somehow find yourself belonging to the wrong circle of people, it's also because you might act wrongly as well. So the energies are somehow on the same levels, and the reason why you're there is because there is a match somehow.
Yes.
So
Yep.
what is this trigger point that you should be working on in order to not be part of that environment, that toxic environment that it's not allowing you, to grow,
Yeah.
and how to be part of something that it's not dimming your light. So
Mm.
I literally destroyed everything. I've been destroyed, and I destroyed everything as well. And I took what was good from my own ashes, and I rebuilt my own new persona, and I'm finally happy. And
Wow.
truly I can, yeah, I can, I was surprised literally a few days ago, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I can finally look at myself. I can
Wow.
finally be somehow in peace.
Hmm.
It took a lot of tears, it took a lot of effort, and it took a lot of pain, but in the end I would never, I would do it again. I would do it. I would never trade the Jessica of today with the Jessica of 5 years ago. Never again. Because it was that Jessica that allowed all these situations to happen. And then somehow I'm also thankful because it drove me and leads me to where I am today. But that was such a bad moment of my life. So I'm thankful that I'm not that person anymore.
That's an amazing story. And while you're talking, I'm thinking the one human quality that I think we don't talk enough about is courage,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to kind of, oh, let me just go find a job, or let me just, shrink away from this. But you push through, and you burned the old Jessica, and you reinvented yourself from your own ashes. That takes courage, because you're going on a journey that is unknown. You don't know what's waiting, but just that desire to keep on pushing and evolving and getting better is what brings you to this place, which
Yeah,
is that's life, isn't it? I mean, that is,
it is. It
what is
is.
life if not that, right?
you, I always do this comparison. So I had this necklace since a long time, and it was my parents' necklace, and it was saying an Italian phrase that says più di ieri meno di domani, which means more than yesterday, less than tomorrow.
Okay.
uh, and I always thought about that. What does it mean? Like, I really don't understand what's the reference. What they are referring to when they did this necklace. And to me, it was just like a question. And then at some point, I arrived with my conclusions. Just keep focus and be present and love more than yesterday, but less than tomorrow, to keep yourself centered. So be here, be now, because you don't know what it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So be conscious about your life, because it's a gift, and you're lucky to be here. You are in full health, and you have legs that can drove you everywhere you want, and you have hands where you can, take foods, eat foods, and enjoy life and hug your beloved, and you can really be here now. And it's nothing like then the final goal. It's just a beautiful way to push yourself further, but in the end, the goal, it's every day, how you keep yourself motivated, and you keep yourself with your own clean values to have a life that deserves to be lived.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that, yeah, like you say, life is fleeting and it's precious, right? It's, one day you're here, the next day you're gone, and it's kind of make the most of every day that you have and be grateful. That's the one thing I've kind of also learned along this journey, is to just to be grateful for every day that you do have, you know, and and work from there. Do you have any kind of habits or routines that you follow that helps you keep you focused and productive?
Yes. And to be honest, it's not something that I really, I mean, yes, some I really enjoy and I do it because I just have it this inside myself. And some of them I oblige myself to do it anyway because I am, I feel better after. So definitely in the morning, if someone removes my coffee, I'm gonna die, I think. So
Yeah, I agree.
as a good Italian, I need to drink my mocha, my huge mocha in the
Yeah,
morning and
right.
chill and think about, how what we are going to do today and
Yeah.
what is going to be our day today. And definitely after I had my gigantic mocha, I consider of getting ready and always be nice and decent for myself, not for others,
Yeah.
even if I stay at home
Okay.
and start working. And at some point I do this one day yes and one day I train. I need to train.
Yeah.
There was a moment that I was very low with my mood and my energies, and everything was just like, as I said, falling apart, and I just decided to quit training
Hmm.
because I didn't feel that I wanted to. But most of the things happen to be that if you don't feel that you want to, it doesn't mean that it's not good for you.
Yes. Yeah,
So
you've got to overcome that resistance in your own brain sometimes, right?
yes, and again, like when I wasn't training for that specific month, I was even feeling worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was like,
Mm.
"Oh my gosh, what am I doing now?" And then at some point, I was like, "You know what? I'm going to train."
Yeah.
And I came back and I trained, and I was like, "Yes, that was the reason.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
need to sweat out all the bad energies that just contaminated my mind and my body." And so now, even if I am not fully willing to do that, I still do it because
You
I
do
need
it anyway.
it.
Yeah.
And I train not much. It's even 30 to 40 minutes per day. One day
Mm.
yes, one day no. It depends. I keep it one day yes, one day no. So I cannot justify myself that day that I don't want to.
Yeah.
Um, and I just like it so much.
Mm.
And
What
after,
I find one of the other benefits of doing exercise, I walk, so I go for long walks, is that it kind of resets your mind as well, because when you're focused on doing something else and you're not in front of a screen where you're distracted, your mind kind of takes that time to kind of put things in perspective and gives you new ideas and so on. And that's when you come back from that, you kind of come back, not just your body is invigorated but your mind as well. And do you have the same kind of experience?
yeah, 100%, 100%. I just discovered my new passions about long walk. So I tend
Yeah.
to go close to the beach where there are not many people because
Yeah.
I is again that my very comfort zone. So when I'm alone and I'm doing things
Mm.
within myself, and I just adore to spend times and thinking and walking and smelling a little bit of
Mm.
water, or like seawater and green when we are close to the green itself. Or what do I do since I have my own car? I just like take my phone and I point like randomly on my Google Maps, and I just drove there to spy what it's around, to give me a
Yeah.
little bit of time to self discover something. And also because I tend to say that when you are with yourself, you create memory within yourself, and when you are with others, you create memories with others, but not always those are you know going to be the memories you would like to keep forever.
Yes.
So I just cherish the time with myself so much because I know
Mhm.
it's going to last forever.
Precious, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it so precious, and I'm so grateful, and I do that because I just love it. Like for me, staying by myself is just the best moment ever.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, kind of reflecting on the old Jessica, is there one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you had to go back 5 years? If you could reach back 5 years ago and say to that Jessica, hey, when you go on this journey, remember this one thing. Is there something like that?
Yes, definitely. I think I summarized them all in stop judging yourself so heavily
Mm,
and be aware that you're special and you are anyway. If you don't reach the excellence, you're still worth living.
mm,
So I think that's definitely something that impacted my life so deeply because I tend to be an achiever, and if it's not how I expect to be, it doesn't have value.
yeah,
And I don't think it's true. I think it has value anyway.
yeah,
And as we consider ourselves as warrior in a war zone, we cannot win all the battles. But
yeah.
losing one doesn't mean that you lost the war and you lost
Mhm,
everything. So be just aware about your potential, your capacity, and stop being your heaviest and worst judge.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, 100%. That is solid advice. It's kind of we tend to take everything personally, right? And it's no, be mindful of that and still care for yourself and care for your own well-being in that
Yeah.
process. I think that's super important.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think you can do this comparison at least for myself. I just read these things and it was saying, do you think that the Jessica of 15 years ago would think that you are doing nice today? Like she would be proud of you. She would
Mhm.
believe that you're doing what you're doing today. And the answer is like, I would be shocked. I would not believe that.
Yeah. Who's this new Jessica? I never knew I had that in me, right?
No way. Like it would be just like, oh, no, no, no. It
Yeah.
probably another Jessica. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
definitely I would be proud and happy, and I would hug myself.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, Jessica. So, in terms of 2025, for goods to load, do you have any exciting announcements or projects or anything that you'd like to share?
I do have actually something very important that it's under NDA, so I cannot disclose anything in specific. But we have a huge important announce that it will be done in a matter of like 1 month or maximum two. Uh,
Okay.
and it's related, of course, to logistics and partnership. And I'm just so glad and excited and honored and humble. And then it's still just like not, it's unbelievable to me to even be considered and then being seen. So I think that anyway, it's going to be a very, very huge here. And I am here for it. Like I'm just here for it and I'm ready for it. And it's going to be very, very interesting, specifically for the global trade market
Mm,
and logistic field itself.
fantastic. Okay, so if people want to get in touch with you or learn more about your company, where should they go?
Well, definitely LinkedIn is such a nice platform, and for business purposes, we are always updating what we do when we do it, and then if we have anything related, to like spaces like one of yours, and it's just a nice path. Like definitely, our emails are there, so
Okay.
they can come to our platform and get in touch with us. There is the phone numbers of Goods to Load, so please, if you have any questions and if you have
Mm,
any, requirement, just please send us a message or feedback. We are more than happy to talk to you and listen what we have to share.
mhm. Fantastic. Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you, and you've given us a few really good insights in terms of the journey and the personal growth that goes into this journey. I really appreciate that, and I want to wish you all the best for you and for Goods to Load for 2025. And I do follow your journey on LinkedIn. So I'll be sure to keep my eyes open to see what your big announcement is in a month or so.
Thank you so much for this time. I just feel very honored to have even the chance to speak. And thank you for all the questions and helping me, to tell about our story. And I'm just excited show you what we will do this year. I'm sure it's going to be a nice year for both of us.
Fantastic. Thank you. And for those of you who tuned in, thank you for making the time. We will be publishing this podcast on YouTube, and we will also link it onto LinkedIn and Facebook. So please, if you want to go back and to hear what Jessica has been talking about, it will be available in the next day or so. Hope you all have a wonderful Friday.
Thank you.